In my younger years, before I learned black people aren't supposed to dream, I wanted to be a Raylette and say, drowned in my own tears, or talking about, or Marjorie Hendricks and grind all up against the mic and scream, baby, 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 night and day, night and day. Then as I grew and matured, I became more sensible and decided I would settle down and just become a sweet inspiration. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines the word foundation as a basis such as a tenet, principle, or axiom upon which something stands or is supported, or the underlying base of support. So what is the foundation upon which your life is built? What makes us who and what we are or are becoming? Everyone has a backstory, and our backstory matters because it serves as our launching pad into life. It is our backstories that form us and compel us to push forward when others are screaming at us, stop, quit. This dream is not for you. This dream is not for someone of your color, your gender, your age group, your sexual orientation, and the exceptions go on and on and on. It can be so extremely exhausting. My backstory, my foundation is my family. My parents always instilled both the power and the love of family, and I have worked extremely, extremely hard to pass that along to my children, and I am exceptionally proud to see them passing it on to their children. It sounds very simplistic. However, I will tell you it is anything but. I can still hear my mother's voice each and every day, providing those words of wisdom and encouragement. My kids often say, you sound just like Granny, and it's usually when I'm saying something that they know is right, but they don't want to hear it. But I take that as high praise. There is tremendous power in words. They can harm, support, celebrate, empower, or antagonize. As a child, I was always comforted by my mother's words. For some unknown reason, I always wanted to be liked and everyone's friend. And I would get very upset when it appeared even one person was not going along with my program. My mother was the one who told me that I needed to have thicker skin. She would say, although I love you, not everyone is going to like or appreciate you, and that is more a reflection of them than you. I thought she wanted me to just ignore small words from little kids that sometimes hurt my feelings, but now I know that she needed me to be prepared to do something bigger and something greater. Like Maya Angelou, my mother was trying to tell me, Doris Jean, if you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Girl, you may not be able to control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. The foundation of my mother's words guided me to ignore the small stuff and to stay diligent and focused so that I could prepare for those greater things. The little girl in me needed to live out loud in celebration of the short time frame of childhood and know that during childhood, all children had the right to be loved, protected, and most of all, happy. And that strategic reply should be applied in response to opposition that screams no to everything that I know deserves a yes. Early childhood education, health care, pay equity for women and educators, and workforce pathways for diverse populations. Nikki Giovanni said, if we don't like the world we're living in, change it. And if we can't change it, we change ourselves. I am no Marjorie Hendricks, and I promise you do not want to hear me grinding out any notes. You know, and people don't mind telling you that. I went to church Sunday, and I was a little bit late. So it was Men's Day, so I'm walking in, and the men were all gathered in the back waiting to, process up to take their place in the choir loft. And I'm just trying to be nice and welcoming, and I said, hey, Y'all want me to come and sing with y'all? And my birthday buddy, Jack, says to me, Sister Doris, now ain't your time. And everybody else just looked like, yeah, now ain't your time. I'm telling you, if I struck a note, that would be the quickest and easiest way to clear the room. My backstory compelled me to choose public service. Along the way, I have learned that my skin did not need to be so thick, but the world that I lived in needed to be more kind, fair, and welcoming. However, as the first Black woman to lead a political party in the state of Illinois, Democratic floor leader during my tenure on the Sangamon County Board, Springfield Alderwoman who served as the first female and first Black mayor pro tem, and as the first Black Illinois state senator to represent the 48th district, I have developed a thicker skin. Perhaps out of self-preservation for me and others. And some of y'all, as the preacher says, y'all gonna get that on the way home. Yeah, for real. Thicker skin allows me to be stronger and more mature in assuring a successful mission. That mission being leaving my community better than how I found it. This thicker skin is also one that is part of my self-care regimen. It allows me to be calm in the midst of a storm and fight off the slings and arrows of those who come in anger or hatred. A regimen that cares for me, the little girl that had dreams and aspirations, and all the little boys and girls that have little to no voice that use me to speak on their behalf as I show them each and every day that all things are possible if you only believe it to be so. If I am truly honest, I do not believe that I chose public service. I believe it chose me. My family, my neighbors, my ward, my county, and Illinois' 48th district have given me the privilege of living out loud with that little girl who still speaks to me with every piece of legislation that I write and defend, every speech or presentation that I give, and with every vote that I have ever received or have cast. That little girl holds my feet to the fire, and she asks me every day, is there more that we can do for those who are hurting, those who are invisible, those who are suffering injustices simply because they have been denied the right to live out loud as they were created to do. This is my backstory. My backstory matters, and so does yours and everyone else's. I know that there are people who are listening right now that also have a little person living inside them, weeping for an opportunity to be seen and heard. To them, I say, your story matters and your dreams matter to the universe. Your disappointments, failures, successes, and triumphs are your foundation, and you are free to build on your foundation, or if necessary, deconstruct it and start over today and each and every day. Whatever you do, do not ignore that little person living inside you who may have a nugget of wisdom to help you take the next step on your journey. I consider myself to be a servant leader, leading beside others who understood that I did not need them to walk in front of me because I might not have been able to follow their leadership style. I appreciate the people who have held me accountable throughout my journey, who did not walk behind me because they were not always sure of the path that I was going to take. But most of all, I appreciate the people who have walked beside me, fought beside me, and who have chosen to lead beside me as a friend and confidant. As I began, I now return you to the sage, Nikki Giovanni, whose words and energy are and have always been the heartbeat of my life. I leave you in the inviting hands of Miss Nikki. In my younger years, before I learned Black people aren't supposed to dream.